Hey guys, this is Shawn Sandridge and I am back with a review for the new Celebrity Apprentice, Season 15, Episode 4, Scissors and Some Creativity. Let me tell you, this one was one of the best episodes so far. It was nail-biting and there were things that went on that I didn't see coming. So let's get into it. So the first task is we have a client, Larissa Kitchen, known for their healthy protein snacks. It's actually, Larissa is the creative and owner of Larissa's Kitchen. So for this particular task, the consultant is one of my favorite people in the whole wide world, Bob Harper, who we all know from The Biggest Loser, but of course he is successful in his own right as a fitness trainer, author. I love Bob. So they were going to have a big PR stud container, and they were going to be judged on 3 criteria: audience engagement, brand message, and creative theme of the concept. So they have these big containers that they get to work out of. The project manager for Arete is Brooke, because health and healthy lifestyle is really something she's passionate about. And the project manager for Prima is Lisa. So this container is like a big shipping container. So Arete decides that they're going to do the biggest booty burn workout challenge, because Brooke teaches a booty burn class, so she really felt comfortable. One of the things that there was a problem is that with the team is that because of the men, they work a lot differently than the women, so they weren't really clear on the concept. And Brooke is not really one that's about the details. She's really more of a creative person. So she was like, you know, we have like the skeleton, and then we're just gonna go and just do what we do and hope that it falls into place. And the guys really wasn't feeling that. They were confused. So Prima is doing a kitchen type thing with a mommy workout. So Lisa is frustrated with Chael. Now remember, Chael is the MMA fighter, and he is really not liked by anybody, by most of the people, but he doesn't care. He is doing the bare minimum, and Portia is deciding that, you know what, Lisa's project manager, the men don't know anything about Lisa. She doesn't want to she wants the men to figure Lisa out for themselves. So Bob is with Arete. Brooke says that she's playing it safe, and Bob says that is a recipe for disaster, to play it safe. Lisa has Vince and Chael. Oh no, sorry, something's my face. Lisa says Vince and Chael is checked out. They really aren't having any input. Now, I will say this. Vince did make a couple of things, but he does not like, he's a lot like John Lovitz. He has a couple of suggestions. If people aren't feeling it out, he just shuts up. Now, remember, Vince won last week, and he won the biggest prize of all of them so far. He won over $700,000. So he won. He doesn't care. The truth is that he's still riding high off of the winnings that he got for his charity, and he doesn't care. Last episode, he was the project manager, and everybody supported him in the fundraising effort. That's why he won all the money. Now he needs to be a team player for someone else, and he's completely checked out because he won. I mean, nobody has gotten close to the earnings that he's won. So there's a lot of moving parts. She has a lot of stations going on, and there isn't a lot of cohesiveness with the concept. And everyone on the team is a little confused of how this is going to work out. And I will say this, when the teams got together, the governor made it very clear that they're at the halfway mark of this, and that the tasks are going to get more difficult. They're going to be more tired, and that the pressure is going to be on more. starting from this point, because you know, this is just, it's a game, so this is how it goes. And that he wanted everyone's full commitment in the process, and everyone said yes. So I will say this, I wasn't really feeling each one. Brooke had a concept, but nobody really understood how it was going to play out. Lisa had a concept. It felt frenetic, very chaotic, and a lot going on. And this was one of the first time that I've been watching the teams that I really couldn't say who I thought was the stronger team. So, okay, so for Arete, they had a great crowd. Oh, and another thing, the way it worked out is that both teams were going to be pretty much within like less than a block radius from each other. So actually, I think it was Prima could actually see what Arete was doing, and how were they going to be able to draw a crowd and keep a crowd and not have a crowd go to the other team. So what ended up happening for Arete, they had a really great crowd, and actually, even though it didn't look cohesive, Brooke did a really good job. She did her workout. Matt was talking, you know, about the health and wellness as a doctor, giving a doctor's perspective. And then Boy George shared his weight loss story, because he said that he had tried every diet, and it wasn't until he changed his mindset and changed the way he viewed food helped him lose weight. So it was really great, because Brooke and Layla did the like co-hosting, and everybody had a little component. Ricky was also there doing his part on working out. So then Shale and Carson was trying to steal Arete's crowd. And Arete had the booty workout that Portia did. Lisa is talking about the ingredients, and they're supposed to take a selfie. Now, Lisa wasn't really interested in Vince's idea about the hot girls dancing, because she felt that this was not part of the brand, that this was really for moms, and that, you know, and there is a point. Women like to be inspired by other women, but there has to be a relatability. And Vince is thinking of a rock star. Let's have some hot girls draw the crowd. And that is not really the brand theme. These are about moms. And if you're going to have the girls, they need to be more relatable and not hot chicks that you would see at, you know, a rock concert, just eye candy. So, but she relented and let Vince have the hot girls, and they were just kind of dancing and shaking to the music of rock. Like, it looked like there was a party up top. It really didn't have any theme to what was going on. So Prima did have a lot of energy. So now they're in the boardroom. So Brooke thought they did well. She said that Ricky was a quiet player. She had the farm. She had what they call she wanted a farm to table concept. Lisa thought that they did a good job. She thought that dealing with Shale and Vince was like pulling teeth. They were very quiet, and they didn't really put a lot of input. Portia said that Vince and Shale did okay. Portia, okay. Now, I've said this before a few times. Arnold, the governor, gets really frustrated with Portia, because Portia cannot answer a question. She has to go into a monologue, and he just wants a yes and no. She always evades the question. And you can tell he gets frustrated because he starts talking to his nephew in German. And he did it this time. So she was talking so much, not giving a straight answer. And he says, I should fire her. That's what he said in German. I should fire her. And the nephew was shaking his head. And she knew something wasn't right. Anyway, so this is what the client said. So for Arete, the positives was that they liked, and this is Brooke, as the project manager, they liked the farm to table feel. It had an authentic feel as a mom. The negative is that the space wasn't used as well as it could have. And then for Prima, the positives were that they loved that there was a major mom focus Carson was the project manager on Prima. Carson did a great job having the crowd open and taste test the product and use the container well. The negative was that it was very chaotic and that the sexy product girls looked cheap and off-brand. And the noise in the background is my dog. So the winner was Arete. Now, Lisa, here it is. So Lisa, who always has a lot to say about the project manager. Now, she was the project manager on this. I might have said Carson, but Lisa was the project manager. And she didn't want to take any kind of responsibility as the project manager. Now, mind you, they always go to Lisa to get what they think is more of a realistic, truthful feel. But here she's in the hot seat as the project manager, and she didn't want to take responsibility for the decision of letting Vince have the sexy product girls. She says that it was his decision, and it's never just the teammate's decision. You co-sign on it. Shale said that he did what he is always true to himself. He says that Lisa didn't have any control. She was an offer leader and that it was a disaster. Lisa said that Shale didn't say anything or do anything to help and that he's talking more than he ever did when they were in getting this whole concept together. She says that so Vince, Shale, and Lisa are in the hot seat. The fact of the matter is that Vince didn't support Lisa and Shale didn't support Lisa. Lisa didn't like Shale and Vince said that he could go. He sucked. The truth of the matter is that he could have cared less that Lisa was the project manager in the team. He won a tremendous amount of money for his team and he had checked out. And so he just accepted the fact that, yeah, I made the decision and if anybody should go, it should be me. So the governor fired him. I thought it was really cheap and very undermining to Lisa. You know, Lisa's not my favorite person, but because she's a little sneaky and low-key, not always all in, but Vince clearly had checked out and he was not supportive at all. He needed to go. Okay, so task 2, they're at the Universal Studios and they are at going to be dealing with the Harry Potter brand. So Universal Studios is the client and Tracy Edmonds is the guest. So their task is to create a celebrity-inspired digital brochure that promotes the wizarding world of Harry Potter. They will present it to the client, Universal Studios, and a group of avid theme park fans. Now, their criteria that they're going to be judged on is creativity of the theme concept, brand integration, and live presentation. Dr. Matt is a Harry Potter super fan. He loves everything Harry Potter. He knows everything about Harry Potter, so he wanted to take the lead for Arete. And in Prima, nobody wanted to take the lead of project manager because no one on that team had any idea about Harry Potter. So their learning curve was really, really bad. So Matt is super excited. He is talking over his team's head about Harry Potter and all this stuff. He is way too excited. He's a nerd. He's a geek. And it was almost obnoxious. Anyway, to watch Dr. Matt turn into a nerd, it was wow. It was a lot. It was a lot. Now, in my house, there is a lot of Harry Potter, but not like that. Okay, so Carson and Portia are brainstorming and they're throwing out ideas. Lisa's frustrated with Portia because actually what ends up happening is Carson and Portia have a lot of synergy about their ideas and she really thrives off of someone that's creative. So Shale was checked out and Lisa put in her input. So Matt came with the idea of the Daily Prophet newspaper, and it was going to be focused on the family, that the magic is real. No one could keep up with Matt. He was speaking pretty much a foreign language. So Layla wants to know, how could we all make it inclusive to reach people who aren't into Harry Potter to enjoy the experience? And they spent a lot of time trying to reel Matt back in. So they had a family. Ricky took the pictures because it's supposed to be a digital brochure. And again, Matt was having way too much fun. So Carson and the group had the pics. Oh, and meanwhile, while they're doing this, the theme park opens. So now they are dealing with the crowd and the chaos of the crowd. And Portia was concerned how all the pictures were going to turn out to tell the brochure the digital story. Brooke is helping build this newspaper, the Daily Prophet, for Matt, and she's frustrated because she really doesn't think that they have the time to really do the newspaper. But she's, you know, trying to be a trooper. And even Matt is thinking that maybe he was a little bit too ambitious doing this paper. So, okay, so Carson is working on the pictures to download. Here is where it gets a little crazy. So they're working on the editing and they're a little stressed because they only have so much time. There is a time deadline to get it done. Otherwise, they get eliminated. And Portia is trying to work it out with Carson to make everything make sense to tell the story. So she's trying to figure out how they have so much info. How are you going to make it all flow together? They're all focused on the computer, and there's the you know, the graphic guy, you know, going along. And while all of them are at the computer, Shale decides to go behind the computer, take the scissors, and cut the cord in the middle of them editing. I kid you not. So he just thinks that this is a brilliant idea because the only way they can buy some time is to have technical difficulty. Now, I don't know what he thought technical difficulty was, but it was definitely not cutting the cord. I don't know about you, and I am not a computer person, but when I think of technical difficulty, I think of computer crashing, or, you know, there is an actual power outage. It is not taking a cord and sabotaging your team. So no one sees him actually cut the cord, but there's this pop that happens and he's behind the computer and there's scissors. There you go. So they're all like sick about it and don't know what to do because he has lost his flipping mind. And in truth, it only bought them an extra 10 minutes. So what ends up happening is that Carson is like, all right, I'm in a position here. I've got to deal with something, and I'm not feeling good about it. So they do the presentation. So this is Arete's first. Matt was in his element. He was in the zone. He just painted this picture from beginning to end of this presentation. They had an incredible audience enthusiasm, and Matt had this incredible energy. It was infectious. Brooke had to snap him back though, because he was getting a little too into it. But once he snapped out of it, he did a great job. So now with Prima, Carson hosted, and really, because they really did not understand all of Harry Potter, there was no one that could be the Harry Potter expert. It was really like reading a presentation, someone else's presentation. They really did not have the energy and synergy that the other team had. It was a little dry, and the audience wasn't very enthusiastic, and it was nice, but it clearly, I did not think they were going to win. And meanwhile, the team wanted to know what happened to Azadine Cordgate. So they're in the boardroom, and the governor is, you know, asking about how Matt did. Matt is a Harry Potter super fan. No one was close. The team was like, you know, he really was the expert, and our job on his he told them that he could go to the dark side, and that if they see him going down the rabbit hole, to reel him back in, and they did. And he felt it was successful. Carson said that no one were Harry Potter aficionados, meaning they didn't know anything about Harry Potter, but he felt like he had to address Cordgate. And he said that there was an incident that happened while they were in editing, and that it left everyone uncomfortable, and that a cord was cut, and that Portia thought that Cheryl actually got like shocked, and then Lisa just said, "There's no way to say it, but I really think he cut the cord." So the governor said, "So what's going on?" So Cheryl said that he gave them technical difficulty, and he justified that he did a great job in creativity, in, you know, keeping them on time. Governor stopped right there, and he says, "That wasn't technical difficulty. That was cheating. You're fired." He got fired on the spot. You don't create technical difficulties. That's not what that was. So he says that I'm not going to ever tolerate that. So now he gets fired, but it doesn't matter because someone is going to get fired. That was just a wild card factor. So now there are 3 people on the Prima team: Carson, Portia, and Lisa. So, so let me tell you what was said. So the client said that Arete had incredible showmanship, knowledge, and loved the paper, and they would use the whole thing, the brochure. They had no negatives. Prima said the creativity was very predictable, and the presentation was uninspired. Ouch. They totally missed the mark. I don't know if it was totally missed the mark, but it's what the client says. Lisa, in her silliness, I don't even know what she was thinking. So the Universal Studios COO was there, and he's just nodding his head, and she's thinking that him nodding his head was that they were a good job. No, he was just being polite. He was just being polite. But to be told that your presentation is uninspired, that right there is the worst. That was the worst that they've gotten feedback that any of the teams have gotten. How would you feel if you were told that your creativity was predictable and your presentation was uninspired? Oh my gosh. And this was Carson's thing. So anyway, Carson, Lisa, and Portia, there's only 3 of them left anyway, are in the boardroom. Carson believed in the creativity, and in the process, Lisa said Carson is a stronger player than Portia and more valuable. And then Portia talks too much. And then I was really surprised. Okay, so once again, the governor asked Portia who should be fired. Now, if you're asked a question, who should be fired, what would you answer? You would answer either Carson or Lisa. No. He asked a very straightforward question, and she would not answer it. So this is what he said. He says, Portia, there are ways to get fired. One is to cheat, and another is to evade my questions. So, who should be fired? He gave her a second chance. And she says, I really feel like it's hard to pick which one. This is a game of elimination, right? Someone is going to get terminated, okay? So he says, you've been here at least 6 times where things fail and you cannot answer the question. You're fired. I was shocked. Well, I saw it coming when he gave her a second chance and she didn't answer. I would have told Lisa. Either one. Her and Carson worked well. The project failed, but he asked her a straightforward question and she still didn't answer it. So, okay, I really thought that Portia was going to be able to stick it out, and I really thought she was going to say Lisa, but she didn't. So my hubby wanted me to make the his little 2 cents, and he says, Lisa should have been terminated. Portia was the stronger player. He doesn't like Portia, but he likes Lisa even less. So he really wanted to see Lisa go. But Portia put herself on the chopping block by not answering the question and talking too much. She had it coming. He was really upset. There's been at least 3 separate times that he's talked in German that he was frustrated with Portia, and she didn't catch a clue. So there you go. So next week looks really, really juicy. And it may be Lisa going home. She might get terminated. It was, I don't know. She's not my favorite person, but ooh, it was a nail biter. I can't wait for next week. So that is the end of the review. I hope you enjoyed the new Celebrity Apprentice, and it was a really good episode. So see you tomorrow for Jumpstart January. Have a great night. Bye.